have this tendency to read the Bible and make it pretty. To read the scriptures and read them the way we want to read them. And so Jesus never raises his voice even when he's flipping over tables, and people just have these sweet and kind interactions with him, and no one ever gets their feelings hurt or their toes stepped on. But listen, think about who this woman was, and think about what she'd been through, and listen to what she actually says. How is it that you, a Jew, ask me, a Samaritan woman, for a drink? Who do you think you are? That's why John had to add at the end, because Jews and Samaritans did not associate with each other. But what we discover is that Jesus pushed through those places. He gave grace. He showed patience. He didn't get offended. He didn't allow for an argument or vain arguments to get stirred up. Jesus didn't hold his Jewish opinion, but he made room for her Samaritan experience. He didn't let culture tarnish or persuade his character. He knew what was right, but he knew what she'd been through. And the only way he could meet her was to acknowledge and validate what she'd been through was wrong, but it was real. Guys, we live in a culture right now that has a battle between opinions and experiences. One group of people is saying, this is what has happened to me. Another group of people is saying, no, it's not. But what we see in Jesus is he didn't allow his opinion to get in the way of her experience. He just met her in righteousness. He didn't argue with her. He didn't shout her down. But he also didn't turn away from her. Jesus, in all of his kindness and in all of his mercy, did what he always did. He understood that you cannot change a culture if you do not meet the individual. And so what we find about Jesus is that he exposed the wounded places in her heart when he told her, go call your husband and come back. Now, for those that don't know the story, I just told you, this woman was married and divorced 5 times. She was living with a man now that wouldn't marry her. Why on the earth would Jesus tell her to go get her husband? Why would he put her in that position? Why would Jesus, filled with grace and truth, bring up this woman's greatest pain? I think this is the hard part for us. It's not enough for Jesus to love us. It's not enough for him to come to us and to come for us. It's not even enough for Jesus to forgive us. For us to truly be redeemed, to be healed, to be changed, our hearts must be exposed and our hurts must be dealt with. The will of our hearts, the hill of our hearts must be climbed. In one conversation, Jesus turned everything upside down. For all of humanity, but also for one individual broken woman. He exposed the foolishness of racial, political, religious, and gender prejudice. And then he exposed the wounds of her personal heart. He broke through the hard places, and he brought healing for the wounded places. Jesus was doing what he always does. He was meeting an individual with love, and he was revealing the truth to society. He tears down the wall of hostility for all, but he heals the wounds of each and every one. He deals with our corporate and individual hearts. He meets us in our experience. He confronts us in our opinions, and he heals us in our brokenness. Because those are the places that our hearts dwell, and he came to change our hearts.